All right, welcome back, guys. So, I think there's one question that we ask kids, which insinuates that they have to be one thing forever. They have to choose one thing that they want to be, and that's it forever. And I think this is a very dumb question. That question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's a very simple question, and depending on what age you ask the kid, it's going to be something like firefighter, police officer, veterinarian, doctor, maybe astronaut. Of course, nowadays, if you have an American child, or Western child usually, it's just, I want to be a YouTuber. Whereas if you have a child in China, they're going to say astronaut or physicist or something crazy. And then when you ask older kids that same question, they're going to have a different answer. They might actually have a more unique, specific thing like, oh, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a plumber. It's rare for those kind of jobs to actually be wanted nowadays, especially like a plumber, electrician, carpenter. All those jobs are not sought after or desired by kids anymore. And I'm not saying to not ask that question. I'm saying it goes along with the idea that you have to choose one thing and you're going to be that forever. And that's pushed on kids so much nowadays. It's terrible too. If you look back at all the great men throughout history, two men that are definitely great examples of this are Benjamin Franklin and Teddy Roosevelt. These guys did so many different things throughout their lives. They were so many different things. Teddy Roosevelt was a rancher and then a politician. He did so many different things. Benjamin Franklin, he created so many new institutions in America. It's unbelievable what these great men did and how they were so many different things. But now it's, you get through school, and then for some reason, somehow, high school is to prepare you for college. So you're going to go through 12 grades of mostly useless BS, which are supposed to prepare you for the real world, even though you learn nothing for the real world. Then after that, you spend another, at very least, 4 years in debt now because of it, most likely, learning something that you might not even use in the future. So that's interesting. I don't know why you'd want to do that, actually. And for the most part, you don't have to go to college unless you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer. But everyone says that. Everyone says, well, you don't need to go to college unless you want to be this or this, but you should go anyway because it gives you more time. It's like, yeah, it gives you more time to decide what you want to be, technically, but it's just, if you've been to a college, it's just extended childhood, but with alcohol and drugs, basically. That's all it is. There's the donkey. Usually doesn't get this close. So it's just extended childhood. But you still, he's following me. There's still the idea that you have to be this one thing. You're gonna be this one thing forever. And that's exactly what schools want. They want people who are going to turn into factory workers, who are just going to stick with one job for their entire lives. They're going to be that one thing. They're going to work forever and ever in this job. He's never gotten this close. But you're going to be stuck forever in this loop of working at this job you don't like, having dreams and ideas of things you might like to do, but believing that they are unrealistic due to the fact that you have been conditioned to believe that all that exists are these jobs that most of them don't benefit the world in any way, and that believing that you can do something on your own is ridiculous. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to start something new right away when you're 18. Of course not, because you have no idea. And when I say this, by the way, I'm also saying it to myself because I know I have no idea. So I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying what is clear but not talked about with a lot of people. But going back to the idea that so many jobs don't actually matter, like even a lot of salesmen and marketers and people who are in big corporations, the world would be better off if they didn't go to work. That was something Gavin McInnes said a couple of years ago, where he was like, you know, all these people who have BS jobs, which would include everyone in like these big tech companies, these media companies, the government even, like all these DMV employees, if they didn't show up to work, if the TSA people didn't show up to work, which people might say, whoa, there might be a bomb. No. There was some experiment that the TSA conducted with itself, and it showed that they failed 60% of the time, meaning that someone could get a gun past them or a bomb or a set of chemicals past them, and they failed 60% of the time. So, no, it doesn't really matter. But if the DMV people stopped going to the DMV for one day, if all the government workers, politicians, big tech, media companies stopped going to work, the world would be better off, which is absolutely true. Anyway, the idea that you should be one thing forever, and that's what you are, is dumb. It's very dumb. Again, going back to Benjamin Franklin, there were periods of time in his life that lasted several years where he focused on one thing, focused on working on one thing, focused on being one thing, and that's okay. If you want to go be a carpenter, for example, or a plumber, or anything like that, even though you can earn very good money, and maybe you really like it and you want to do it forever, that's good. But the idea that you are stuck, and that you chose this and that's it, and that it's too risky to choose something else after that because you have the secure job. It's not really secure. I mean, what job is secure, really? Besides like working on your family's ranch. Much more secure than most jobs, but you can get fired at any time for any number of reasons. A ton of different things can happen that you definitely won't plan for. So it's not secure. They're both following me now. But I think, and again, I'm not saying this because I'm preaching, I'm saying this because these are things that I've noticed from other great men, that the best thing to do as a man is to find one thing to do, plan your life around doing that thing, at least the more immediate future, plan the more immediate future on doing this one thing, let's say next 5 years. And then from there, a ton of different things will happen. And you can decide if you want to continue being that, continue doing that job, or go into something else. Because you don't want to be a factory worker. You don't want to be a slave. And if you do, you've probably had too many of those forever chemicals in your food or in the water. So yeah, going back to it, I think this whole question we ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? First of all, I feel like that's just a silly question you ask when you don't know what to say to a little kid. Because of course you know their answer is going to be one of 10 things. Of course, you know that. And you know that within the next 2 years or 5 years, that's likely going to change. But not only is that a dumb question, it's also conditioning them to believe that they should be one thing forever. And I think no educated mind would agree with the idea that just because you're a marketer, you have to be that forever, that you'll never be able to go into another field or start your own thing. No educated mind would agree with that. Again, these are just things that I've noticed from great men. Any great man. Could be Louis L'Amour, could be Benjamin Franklin, could be Teddy Roosevelt, could be Voltaire, could be anyone. Any one of these great men. That they wouldn't limit themselves to being one thing, and they also don't limit other people in any way. They wouldn't insinuate that they have to be one thing forever or do one thing for the rest of of their lives. So anyway, guys, that's about it for today's video. That's just something I thought about because obviously everyone has been asked that question several times, and I've never been able to answer it. Every time I've been asked that question, except maybe when I was really little, I said a meteorologist. But other than that, it's always been, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this question, because I'm not saying it's a bad question to ask. I'm saying that I think it leads to a bad place and people believing that they can only be or do one thing forever. So let me know what you guys think about that. I also do have a email list that you can sign up to, which will be in the description, where I'll send you a email every time I make a video like this. And I'll also send you an email every week with a short summary about a great man in history. If you like these videos and you want to see more like it, then please subscribe, turn notifications on, because there's not too many people who get notified whenever I upload a video. And if you want to get these videos out to more people, just hit the like button and leave a comment if you'd like. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.